Podcasts are a big thing in recent years, and the number of podcasts being followed online is increasing day by day and is competing with one another. The most difficult part is to find the right one that is worthy of our time and helps us to be more productive. So we have created a list of top podcasts in 2024 to make your podcast listening journey a fruitful one. At number 10, we have My Favorite Murder. This podcast is about crime and comedy, hosted by Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstock. This podcast focuses on mental health, women's rights, addiction, and religion. Number 9 is On Purpose with Jay Shetty. This podcast brings on how to handle your emotions with situational use and helps people to master mental health and life. This podcast is hosted by Jay Shetty. Number 8, Office Ladies Podcast, hosted by Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey, and this podcast is about their lives and the Office episodes analysis and behind the scene. Number 7 is Call Her Daddy. Call Her Daddy is one most listened to podcast on Spotify, where there is free flow of questions and answers to everything in relations. Number 6, The Ben Shapiro Show. This is daily wire extension, the daily brutal events of America, and discussed out loud and without filter. At number 5, we have Pod Save America, brilliant podcast about progressive politics in America supporting Obama and his political side, and is joined by A-list journalist, activist, and world leaders. Number 4, Stuff You Should Know. Funny, weird, informative, unspoken topics are discussed in this podcast. One of most listened episode is How Diamond Work. What is Facism? Number 3, This American Life Podcast. This is weekly radio program is hosted by Ira Glass and presents the story of people in America with different style of storytelling narrative. Number 2, The Daily Podcast. This podcast is hosted by Michael Barbaro with the day's hot news and covers domestic and international politics. At number 1, it is none other than the Joe Rogan Experience. This podcast is hosted by international comedian, calls out famous celebrities and discusses their best and worst times in best entertaining way. Now that we got you covered, go with your heart and listen to Best of the World, and you might end up learning something new with good podcast.